Thank you for joining us today here at Special Education, a different way of thinking. We have a special guest today. I want to get her insight on a few topics. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Hello. I am Vibrant Jubilee because I am always bringing the good vibrations to you as much as I possibly can now. I'm human, but it's always good vibes over here. I am a mother, business owner, in business education. I am currently working on my future podcast called She Speaks. That's me.
Just because the dad is in the house, does it make him an active father?
No, it doesn't. Doesn't at all.
And what is your take on that?
I mean, just because you're physically present in the same house with your kids doesn't mean that you're mentally and emotionally present with your kids. It just means that you're physically present. You're just in the house. But being active involves a lot more than just physically being there.
So do you think just because guys pay the bills or financially secure the household, they feel like that's enough, that they don't have to do the small intricate things to build the family to a higher degree?
Yeah. I think there are a lot of men who think that, especially if they pay all the bills, right? If they pay all the bills, they feel like I've done my share, I've done my part. That's the only part I need. And you as the mother, because it's ingrained in our nature to kind of be nurturers and take care of the family and stuff like that, you know, it's been put into the culture, all different types of culture, that the woman is the caretaker of the home. And that includes the children and anything that involves that. So I think a lot of men have that mentality. I don't agree with it though.
So do you think that put a strain on the relationship within the household?
It can. I think when it comes to a relationship, people need to discuss what the relationship should look like, right? I think going into it, you should know that if that's going to be your role and you're accepting of that, then it wouldn't put a strain on it.
So what are some corrective behaviors to try to improve a man's perspective of not thinking in that capacity and to do more, to be more involved with the family?
I mean, I think it needs to be a societal change, right? It really needs to be a cultural change. That's what I think. I think it needs to happen as a whole. I think individually, there are some men who get it and they participate in all the stuff with the kids, but the larger majority just don't, because they still have that ideology that is completely outdated. So one way to correct it, number one, is for everybody to take accountability of not being communicative enough in their relationship. I think people get into relationships and they don't really discuss what the relationship should look like. You know, what role does each person play in the relationship and how they want to grow and expand on that. So I think that's a big corrective action right there. It's just realizing like, hey, we just kind of jumped into this and we're doing things, but we didn't really discuss how we want to do things and what that should look like, especially if we're building.
All right, from your perspective and your experience, what would be the things and the advice that you could give to others to help correct those behaviors?
I mean, in my experience, I've seen it both ways, right? I've seen a father in the home and be very actively involved. And I've seen a father be in the home and not be involved. So, like I said, definitely taking accountability and having those important conversations for starters. Number two, outlining, you know what I'm saying, the steps that need to be taken. And number three, actually taking those steps. Whether it be going to counseling, whether it be getting into some fatherhood groups, talking to other dads who are the ones who are active and, you know, really involved in their kids' lives, in the daily life, different things like that. Because some men, they've just never seen it. They don't know any better, right? Like all they know is I'm supposed to pay the bills and that's it. So they need to get around some other men that are actually involved in their kids' life so that they can actually see it firsthand, gain another perspective, and learn. Use it as an education process for them to grow.
Okay. I kind of agree with you on a lot of things because I was a young father and I had multiple kids and I didn't know how to be a dad. You know, trying to learn how to be a man and a dad at the same time in my 20s, not having a father. So it's a lot of learning curves that I had to adjust to throughout this transition, and it's really tough. Now that I have small children, I know how to be a better father to those individuals and be in their lives and give those the nurturing love that I missed out in my early days.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think as a parent, your parenting style changes as you learn more and you grow. So I have 4 kids that I gave birth to. So I have an adult child, I have a teenage child, I have small children. Each of them got a different version of me. Literally. They have the same mother, but they don't have the same mother. Because I've grown, I've learned different things, I've incorporated different things. So my oldest child had a completely different experience than the child that's directly underneath him, than the teenager. He had a completely different experience because he had a different mom. You know, as you parent, there is no real handbook on parenting, right? There's these books out there, but there is no real true handbook on parenting because number one, every child is different. Every child is going to require something different of you. And throughout times, you have to grow and mature. So parenting is mostly trial and error. It's mostly trial and error. So yeah, I think that with you having different sets of kids, you say you have younger kids now, yeah, you're going to be a different father to them. If you've grown over time, if you've learned things, you're supposed to. That's how it's supposed to work. You should never stay the same as you was 10 years ago, 15 years ago, 20 years ago, 5 years ago. You should be reinventing yourself, the better version of you. So.
And how do you use yesterday's experience to make a better tomorrow?
I have to accept yesterday for whatever it was. I think accountability is at the forefront of anything. Self-evaluation is at the forefront of that. You should be looking at, okay, what did I do yesterday? Every day, you should be striving to be a little bit better than you were. But you got to actually look at it and evaluate it. What happened yesterday? What did I do yesterday? What did I accomplish yesterday? Did I check off something on my list? Did I not? You know, what was my day like? How did I feel? Like, self-evaluation is very important, especially if you are making a conscious decision to be a little bit better each day. Being able to recognize your flaws, recognize when, you know, you feel like you're being guided in a different direction, and consciously making a decision to not go in that same direction.
What is your number one thing that you look at in a man that you want to receive from a man?
It's kind of a tough question a little bit. I can't even really say like I have a number one thing above everything else. Above everything else, I don't know, I would have to say respect. Like above everything else. Because I feel like with the respect, so much comes with it. You know, someone was like, well, I just want a man to be honest with me. Well, I feel like if a man respects you, he will. So honesty will come with the respect. Transparency will come with the respect. You know, him being willing to change and grow based on the needs of the relationship will come with the respect. He'll respect you enough, you know, to want to do that. Or he'll respect you enough to walk away because he knows that he cannot come up to where you might need him to be in that moment. So I'm gonna say respect. Overall, number one, I want a man to respect me.
With my experience with women, the number one thing that I have noticed that they wanted is safety, security, knowing somebody. It's three things. I'm gonna put it out like this. There's three things. Somebody that can trust, that they can tell their secret to, knowing that you will never tell nobody, and knowing you will never use that against them.
That's all safety.
So when you have that type of security with that individual, coming from a woman's perspective, she will always have a special type of love and respect for that person, because it's a bond that's inseparable. What's your take on that?
I mean, I agree. Safety is extremely important. Like, just for me personally, I can only speak for myself. If I don't feel safe with you, you lose a lot of things with me. But I also feels like safety is tied to respect, and that's why I made respect number one. Because I feel like if you respect somebody for who they are, you respect their values, you respect their boundaries, you respect their thoughts and opinions, you respect, how they go through things and different things like that, it's gonna come with safety automatically. But safety is extremely important. If I don't feel safe with you, you can hang it up.
So would that be top tier?
What?
Safety.
Yeah, absolutely. Most women don't feel safe with men in general.
What would be a red flag?
What? That you're not safe with somebody?
Yeah.
They don't respect your boundaries. That's a red flag. That's a red flag. They don't respect your boundaries. If you watch them and how they have conversations with other people, and you notice that they're constantly like gossiping about other people or bringing up other people, different things like that, like that's a red flag, because that's how they operate, right? If you see them doing that so easily, like second nature, just the things that roll off the tongue when they're talking to somebody, and you're going to be the topic of conversation. You're going to be the next topic of conversation. So that's a huge red flag. That's not somebody that you can really trust with intimate details about yourself, because they're a chatty catty. They like to run their mouth, and with running their mouth, sometimes things just come out, and they may not even intentionally be talking about you. It just happens because that's what they do. That's just their characteristic. It's just too easy for them to do it.
So you know that you not off the radar when you not around, then.
Correct. You can't trust that.
It was a pleasure having you today. Great conversation.
Thank you.
Beautiful smile. And like you said, you got a vibrant energy. We'd like to have you on in the future to give your insight on some more conversation.
I had a good time. I think it was a great conversation. I would love to come back and do something else. $59.
So that baby, she used to ride that little yellow bus on the screen behind it. That little helmet and shit on.
Now you know good and well. You don't want to compare education, schoolwork or student.
We can't.
Because if anybody who was in the slow classes, it was you.
I was a straight A student.
In the slow classes, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I always made honor roll.
In the slow classes.
And what make the class slow if it's a different way of thinking, different way of processing?
It's definitely different.
What you mean?
Special.
See, that's what's wrong with y'all now. Y'all always want to look down on somebody.
Look down?
Yeah.
Who's looking down?
You.
I'm looking up.
How?
I'm always looking up.
Man,
I'm an optimist.
you full of it.
No. full of vibrant love.
So you ain't never cracked no jokes on no person that was in special ed?
Probably. Not that I can recall offhand, but I'm sure I probably did.
You don't think that was mean?
No. Special ed kids that crack jokes on you. So I'm gonna crack jokes on who's ever cracking a joke on me. I'm sorry.
So nobody off limits?
I don't discriminate anybody if they're attacking me. I'm a firm believer in self-defense, whether that's by verbal assassination or otherwise.
Towards a remedial person?
Hey, they ain't that remedial. They can crack jokes on me, and they can be able to handle a joke back.
Oh man, you ain't you ain't about to write, boy. You ain't about to write.
Hey.
Do something else like what?
More topics, more discussions, maybe be on a panel. Just all depends on where the show is going.
I'm gonna pull up them pictures when you used to ride that little yellow bus behind.
Please do. Please do. I want to see them.
What elementary you go to? Mullen Park.
Mullen Mustang, baby.
So anybody
Park
that went to
Panther,
Mullen,
baby.
anybody went to Mullen, I need them pictures. Send me them pictures ASAP.
Go ahead. Send them in.
Send me them pictures.
Send them pictures in.
You know that baby used to wear glasses and that helmet now.
Glasses, yes. Helmet, no. I didn't even wear a helmet when I was rollerblading.